Robert and I were relative newlyweds, and we were trying to start a family, and everyone were having difficulty, unexplained infertility, and everyone said, "Oh, just relax, relax." So we bought a weekender on the other side of the Blue Mountains in a place called the Capity Valley. We were coming home early one morning after being away for a weekend when we hit black ice, and the car rolled. On the second roll, the roof caved in, hit me on the back of the neck, and instantly severed my spinal cord. In that moment, I knew instantly I'd never walk again. I already felt like my legs belonged to someone else or to some place else, like a past that I was no longer connected to. When I was released from the induced coma and life support, to discover that my arms and hands were also paralyzed. Initially, I was paralyzed from the neck down. But thanks to science and the advancements made in science, a steroid that had been made legal only 5 years prior was injected directly into my spinal cord, and it brought the swelling down, and I got some arm movement back. But my hands are still paralyzed. When I finally could talk, my first question to the doctor was, would I be able to carry a child? And they said no. So my second question to my new husband was, could I have a divorce?
It never occurred to me to walk away. And as I said to Carol later on, when we got married, we made a vow, to death do us part, through sickness and in health. They weren't just words. I really meant them.
That very day was the first day they put me in a wheelchair, and he wheeled me downstairs into the courtyard cafe in the hospital. And as I went out around the corner in the courtyard, all of a sudden the Irish music from our wedding day started to play, and there was an altar and a priest and my mum and dad, and we renewed our wedding vows. We desperately wanted children, and the amount of times that people would say to me, do you really think you're being selfish, wanting a child and putting your husband, doesn't he have enough on his plate? But what they didn't understand was Rob wanted this just as much as I did. It took us 8 years to get our son, and 15 embryo transfers, 3 rounds of IVF, and miscarriage after miscarriage. And then in the end, when we moved here to Queensland, we got him naturally. It was a hell of a journey, and it was both of us. I didn't go through this by myself.
Mum always told me growing up that we had something called a diamond umbilical cord. It's just a bond that can never be broken. We have arguments and bicker like all teenagers and their parents do, but I could never storm out of the room on my mum. I love her too much. Unbreakable bond.
When Darcy was about 8 years old, he's Mr. Independent, not needing me as much anymore. He's at school all day. And I guess I started to miss my sense of professional identity. Everything I'd studied for, my former career, was all gone. So I'd mentioned this to my husband a couple of times, and he said, well, look, why don't you start another law firm again? And I'm very proud to say that Taylor Law and Conveyancing were the first law firm in the state of Queensland to conduct an electronic simultaneous settlement between 2 properties 1,200 kilometres apart. I think that's a pretty big achievement for someone that thought she couldn't start a law firm as a quadriplegic. A cure for paralysis would mean independence. It would restore my dignity. It would give me back all of the dreams that I had for my life. One of the things I miss most is dancing with my beautiful husband. I'm so fortunate to have that romance in my life.
Well, we were married 3 years, and it's been 20 years now since the accident, so it's 20 years that we haven't danced together. It's 20 years that I haven't danced with anybody, because I wouldn't dance with anyone. How could I dance with anyone? It has to be Carol. It has to be Carol. That's what it would mean.
I know Perry, he's an amazing guy. I love Perry. I think what he's doing is phenomenal. I admire what he's doing with his foundation. I believe in what he's doing, you know, and he says everything is possible. I believe him. I never thought that I could do the things I'm doing. So why can't there be a cure for paralysis? SIP Week is so important. It's the major fundraising event for the Perry Cross Foundation, and this is money that's going to help cure paralysis. And you can't imagine how difficult it is to drink every drink through a straw. The science is there. I really believe in a cure. Please register at sipweek.com. I can promise you that every dollar donated is going to help change someone's life.